GOP House candidate has misrepresented military service. Here's my shocked face.
Somebody in the GOP did a bad? I don't...
Right. And it's like, yeah, this is because the whole, I mean, military patriotism, fucking love of country, all that shit. It's all cosplay for them. It's all like this fetish. So here I am with something of a cosplayer. I don't know what you know. This is a sort of digital cosplay, but it is. I guess
that's what VTubing is.
Yeah. What is the deal with the old OO and uwu thing? Don't ask me to explain. I just know it's a thing degenerates do.
It's true.
OO, uwu. But yeah, it's the whole thing is like it's an instant. I have instant credibility in the GOP. I just say I am a veteran, and suddenly you get this sort of like, oh, well then you're qualified to do any job, including fucking be a teacher. Without even a teaching certificate, and I don't know if you've seen that some states are bringing in military to be basically substitute teachers while teachers don't feel safe to come back to work.
But don't you know, if we just took all of the military veterans and we positioned them at the entrances and exits of every single school building with an AK-47 or an AR-15, that would solve all the school shootings. And employ all the veterans.
Shit. I need to address this. Dylan's just said I just called half my mod crew degenerates. And I just do want to apologize because I meant to call my entire mod crew degenerates. So I am sorry for
Paladin
only
Lost, thank you for
calling
your
half.
voice for an ada.
Let me fix that right now. Every one of you. The entire crew. Goddamn degenerates.
While we're at it.
Whether you ooh-woo or not.
While we're at it, every single person who's watching my stream, every one of you, you know who
You're
are.
all fucking.
You know what
goddamn
you've done.
D-gens.
Professor Glacier, thank
you
you
D-gens from up country. Anyway, yeah, it's not at all surprising to me because these people fucking it's just so stupid the way this fetish of.
So we're talking about D-gens and fetishes. Are we still talking about my audience, or are we talking about the GOP now?
Yes.
Okay. Good to know we're on the same page.
Let's see. Campaigning for a Northwestern Ohio congressional seat, Republican J.R. Majewski presents himself as an Air Force combat veteran who deployed to Afghanistan after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, once describing tough conditions, including a lack of running water that forced him to go more than 40 days without a shower. So I assume that the reveal is going to be he actually did go 40 days without a shower, but it was more of a lifestyle thing.
It was a World of Warcraft thing, not a World at War thing.
Hey, when we're in this window, I can move my iPad back to that side. That's what has my Twitch chat on it. Uwu has already won the war. It's a farce. Military documents obtained by the Associated Press through a public records request tell a different story. And that's what's fucking wild. If you're going to make up a lie, make one harder to prove or disprove. They indicate Majewski never deployed to Afghanistan, but instead completed a 6-month stint helping to load planes at an air base in Qatar, a longtime U.S. ally that is a safe distance from the fighting. Kind of, yeah, like I had a brother who, he at least was honest about it, but a lot of people weren't, who deployed to Kosovo and was like, yeah, I played video games mostly. That was dope. A lot of Call of Duty, a lot of Battlefield. They love to give the people who are deployed where they can the fucking like military video games too, because they're like, yeah, play the game and then, be that superhero in real life. Majewski's account of his time in the military is just one aspect of his biography that is suspect. His post-military career has been defined by exaggerations, conspiracy theories, talk of violent action against the U.S. government, and occasional financial duress. Still, thanks to an unflinching allegiance to former President Donald Trump, former disgraced, 2-time impeached President Donald Trump, please use his entire title. Majewski once painted a massive Trump mural on his lawn. He also stands a chance of defeating longtime Democrat Representative Marcy Kaptur in a district recently redrawn to favor Republicans. That's fucking annoying.
Isn't it wonderful that we can redraw districts when things aren't going well for our parties? I feel like that was... I'm fairly certain that was made illegal several times, but yeah, it's not a problem, I guess.
Yeah, and especially when you're desperate and you have to gerrymander to make sure that somebody this unqualified gets in. My God, have you? Well, of course you know. Fucking Herschel Walker.
Yep.
Has an actual chance of beating Raphael Warnock, and Herschel Walker is like. Marjorie Taylor Greene looks a little smart next to Herschel Walker.
No,
My God.
next to Herschel Walker, Marjorie Taylor Greene looks like a conniving supervillain with a master plan. Herschel Walker, I am 100% convinced, based on the thing, like the way he comports himself, that he's literally just there to be a GOP yes man. Like the party will say we do this, and he will go Georgia does this, and that's it. That's all it's going to be. No discussion.
Right. I agree.
And I'm just like,
I agree.
I don't.
And it's wild because it's like you are trying to replace one of the best people to ever sit in Congress ever with one of the worst people who ever could. It'd be like trying to replace Bernie Sanders with Lauren Boebert. Like that's the contrast. Raphael Warnock is like a fucking badass. And that's me saying that, Mr. Atheist, who is like, yeah, that reverend in Georgia is one of my favorite people who exists. Mind you, he's a pro-choice reverend at the same congregation that MLK Jr. practiced his reverendry. That's a word. Reverendship. You know, he's so he's already just such a badass. But to literally like take somebody who's that good of a person and that effective of a communicator, like he has the best words, good words. He knows all the best words, but he actually does. He actually knows how to speak to people in a way that they understand, but can take complex issues and communicate them to a general electorate in a way they can understand and comprehend and chew up. And it's wild to that big of a contrast. Let's take the best guy to ever have the seat and replace him with the worst possible option.
I'm at the very least happy that it's not going to be a thing where like we have to hear about people coming in and going, you just don't like Herschel Walker because of his race, because you know that that's a card that people will pull. Especially on the GOP, well, they'll just be like, "You're a liberal. I thought you wanted a black man to be in power. What's wrong with you?" Like at the very least, circumstantially, we don't have that problem, but it's also just agitating because when you like, have you heard Herschel Walker talk about
he's running
science?
Against a black guy.
Yeah,
so
that's
hard
the
to pull
reason why they can't.
It's hard to say I don't like Herschel Walker because he's black when I am so fervently endorsing his opponent who is black. But it's also funny because it sort of gets back to their concept of affirmative action, which their concept is very racist of affirmative action because they're almost implying when affirmative action goes into place, it's basically to say amongst a pool of lots of qualified candidates, systemically black people have still been kept out even though they are very qualified. So here is a system and a program to try and correct that because we see the cultural and societal impact it has when you implement it. So here is a way to encourage you to hire a black person where they've previously been systemically kept out. And here's all the positives that come with that, adding that diversity. And they always take it straight to, oh, you should give it to the best person for the job, not the...
It's like, are you saying the best person couldn't be black?
Right. Like you think there are no, that was their whole thing with this new Supreme Court justice where they're just like, it should be it's like, guys, there's lots of qualified black women for the Supreme Court justice position. There's not a problem with now we're not going to get someone qualified enough because we decided it would have to be a black woman. They would have to be a black woman. That's going to be fine. There's lots of qualified candidates. And they're like, oh, well, you're trying to force that tokenization, you fucking idiots. Anyway, it's all
never give
just
the
a
GOP,
silly goosery.
Never give the GOP the benefit of the doubt when it comes to thinking through their positions.
Yeah, no shit. Benefit of the what? Let's see. Majewski is among a cluster of GOP candidates, most running for office for the first time. whose unvarnished life stories and hard right politics could diminish the chances of a Republican red wave on election day. Yeah, but this, like they said, it's not that he's going up against Marcy Kaptur with better ideas or being a better candidate. He's going against her with a redrawn district that favors Republicans. Like that's their
He's
main
rigging the
tactic
game
there.
in his favor as best. Well, not him specifically, but GOP has rigged the game in his favor.
Yeah. It bothers me when people trade on their military service to get elected to office when what they are doing is misleading people, the people they want to vote for them. Veterans have done so much for this country, and when you claim to have done what your brothers and sisters in arms actually did to build up your reputation, it is a disservice. Yeah, so he doesn't technically have stolen valor in its most literal sense, pretending to be in the military where you're not. He was in the military. He's just lying about what his military record was to be able to do better politically. But the funny thing is like, again, it's that whole, oh, you were in the military, you're automatically a good person. I grew up in a military family. My father was in the military. I have 2 brothers who were in the military, one of which is very proud of his service and one of which has what I would call more down-to-earth recognition of, boy, that's just another cult, isn't it? I just have like crazy news for so many people on the right. Being in the military does not make you a good person. And many, maybe even most people in the military suck. Now, before people jump on my most comment, most people in every community suck. So, but, the military does have a special type of suckage, if I dare say so. Doesn't mean any person I know who's been in the military I'm going to say sucked. Obviously, I collaborate with Dillahunty all the time. He was in the military.
So from what I'm seeing here as well, lying about his service actually does, like, even being in the military, it actually does still qualify as stolen valor.
Does it?
Any false claiming of military service, certain ranks that are not earned, or claiming of decorations that were never actually awarded, all of those fall under stolen valor. So you can claim that military service in that, like, you never joined the army, but you claim you were, or you could be in the army and say, like, I was shipped out to Nam, and like, you weren't.
Interesting. Yeah, that's funny. I had a coworker years ago when I worked for Verizon who was just a security forces douche. And basically security forces in Wyoming are a group of kids running around the military base, pulling each other over for going 1 mile over the speed limit. Mm-hmm. And it's really funny when you're on the base as a civilian because they cannot do anything to you except like demand. And I antagonized a few of them who tried to pull me over and was like, oh, cool. So the real police are not coming, right? You have no infraction. There's nothing you can actually issue me, a civilian. So I'm just going to leave now. Please step away from my car as I am about to put it into drive. As a civilian, they can't really do shit. Especially since they're just sitting there to fucking harass you. And I wasn't married to a person in the military or anything. Now, there are potential consequences for whoever, when they go, under whose authority are you here? Who let you on the base? Who sponsored your civilian, whatever? There's that. And then you just go, I'm not going to tell you. Anyway, so it's a bunch of fucking barely older than teenagers running around, pulling each other over for going 1 mile over the speed limit, being just giant pedantic douches, fucking like trying to cite pregnant women who are on base whose husbands are deployed, trying to cite them for not shoveling their snow walk. Real big douchebags, and he was one of those douchebags. But he would tell everybody who would come in that he works in the military as I think like a Black Hawk pilot or something, a helicopter pilot. Mm-hmm. And so he would just say that to him. Yeah. Oh, you saw that? Oh, you saw that? Those helicopters flying over today? Yeah, I was piloting them. I was piloting one of them. I would have been the one at the front of the formation. And it's literally like, buddy, you're telling them the story and you're saying it in front of us and expecting us to believe it too. You were here at the time of that formation that you're describing. Oh yeah. Oh, what time were you out? 10 o'clock? Yeah, that would have been me. And it's like, buddy, your shift started at 9 today. We know you're lying. But he wouldn't ever admit that he was lying. Hey, thank you, Dragonfire, for subscribing. Yeah. So the deal is, being in the military doesn't make you a good person. Now, you could say that certain military accolades and certain military service and certain stuff, specific parts of a military resume, I could, one, understand why it makes them a more appealing Republican candidate, because there are also certain things that wouldn't do it for me these days. However, it's just this general extension of trust. And it's like when people used to think that Eagle Scout meant something, and all Eagle Scout meant was you managed to stop masturbating for a few hours to fill out a form in your little handbook. Like, fucking Jesus Christ.
No, it makes me a good person. You don't understand. The not masturbating was a key factor in me being a better person. It's very important you acknowledge this.
Are you an Eagle Scout?
No. No, I'm doing a stolen valor right now.
I just shy of Eagle. But, you know, who fucking cares? I'll lie. I was an Eagle Scout. It's not stolen valor. It's not the military. It's literally like if you join the military,
it's literally the exact same
Scout,
thing as the military, 110%.
It is, yeah. I think if you join the military and you have your Eagle Scout, you get some special little badge so that people will know you were an Eagle Scout. But
I feel like that's a way that you get bullied in boot camp.
As said in the comments, being a good person is what makes you a good person. That's what does it. This is stupid. Okay, what else? Did you have any other thoughts about the Ohio guy? I can bring it back up.
Oh, I was actually just gonna pull up the video of his where he was actually like talking about why there was no record of him. I said that was the first link I sent you. You
sent that to me?
Yeah, the first link I sent you was the video of it.
Let me go grab that. I go back to this screen because I'm not going to let people look at my Facebook DMs while I'm pulling stuff up. You said the first link you sent me has that video?
Yes, it should be the one from Ron Fopalki.
On Twitter? Yeah, God, I love Ron. That was the guy I was saying earlier, if you're not following, you should be.
What's funny is I had that in my set of, like, videos to cover, and I hadn't followed him yet, but I was still grabbing his stuff.
That dude is just a like, that guy is a machine all day. Just like, here's another example of GOP hypocrisy. Here's another example. Day to day, like covering it on the news. Like, here it is. Let me pull this up and...
We show one deployment to Qatar from May 2002 to November 2002. What he did, meaning me, or where he may have went from that location, we do not have visibility on. In fact, the orders and the military records that I've been able to obtain from my personal files shows that all of my deployments are listed as classified. This was a strategically placed, to crush me and defame me with a fake.
So wait. They classified his deployments so we wouldn't know is what he's saying. But if that was true, couldn't he be arrested for disclosing classified information about those deployments? If he truly was deployed for a year to Afghanistan, when again, this was during a 6-month Qatar deployment that he's claiming it also happened, where he went from Qatar. Mm-hmm. If it was classified, then he disclosed classified information by saying those, like, they would be on his door to arrest him. Am I wrong? This guy is just...
So I
just have Joe Biden think about it, and then it'll be declassified.
So I'm not 100% certain, but the way it sounded to me, it sounded like he was saying that, by the way, my military record is classified. That's why there's no record on me doing these things I've said I've done. But if that's the case, then he's still saying classified information.
No, that's kind of what I'm saying. But I think he's saying specifically when he was in Qatar, where he was sent from Qatar, which is a good distance away, was classified, and that what was listening again?
The inquiry states, we show one deployment to Qatar from May 2002 to November 2002.
So about 6 months.
What
7.
He did, meaning me, or where he may have went from that location, we do not have visibility on. In fact, the orders and the military records that I've been able to obtain from my personal files shows that all of my deployments are listed as classified. This was a strategically placed, to crush me and defame me with a fake.
I think he is saying the classification. I would need to see the rest of the video. I don't know what the long one. Was done post hoc basically to try and defame him.
I wonder if we can get more of that video itself, because that would be a hell of a leap for someone to go, people classified my documents so that I could be defamed. Like, that's a hell of a leap, especially if you're in the military.
By the way, fucking the military, I don't know. Just show us a picture of you with somebody who's clearly deployed to Afghanistan. Just show us a picture of you in Afghanistan. Those motherfuckers are going over there with cameras taking selfies like crazy. I've literally watched like kids in the military who are like making talk shows on video cameras over there. Just show us a fucking photo. It'd be so easy. Anything that you're saying you did, prove it. But of course, now he can't. He's got the documents and they've been made classified. Let's see. Majewski, we'll go to YouTube and see if I can find it. Majewski, I don't even know if that's how you pronounced it. I'm just pronouncing it the way it appears. Oh, but I don't know. I kind of want to go look at this new old world Fanceroni pizza review from Little Caesars instead. That's some healthy amounts of pepperonis.
I want that.
I refreshed somehow. That was a lot of pepperonis.
Why is
that available at any Little Caesars?
Why is there a 38-minute video from Jordan Peterson that his vision for conservatives, part 1?
But he's not a conservative, remember.
Definitely
That's the funny
not.
thing too.
He's not.
But and yet on his channel, the Conservative Manifesto Part 1, of how many parts also? Well, if I had to say my vision for the substrate of mainline conservatism, Majewski, let's see, classified missions. Let's see.
I think I've got the 2-minute video on top. Looks like it's gotten most of the
Today,
context.
J.R. Majewski, a Republican candidate.
But also my character media and my opponent, Marcy Kaptur, with the malicious intent to not only destroy my political campaign, but also my character.
It's a fiery opening statement from Mr.
Does it come back?
Afghanistan were classified.
It's almost impossible for me to tell you where I was on what day. That's why my orders are listed as a classified location.
And he says the release of this information was a politically motivated attack.
Marcy Kaptur and the Associated Press, you are a disgrace to veterans who serve this country. I demand a public apology. I serve my country proudly, like thousands of other service members.
Majewski then opened the floor.
I'm literally just saying, just prove you were ever there, buddy. Just prove it. You gotta love this. Like, there's no record of it. I said a year. The deployment says 6 months, but it's been classified. So now it's impossible for me to even tell you or prove it to you because it's been classified. And this was all a campaign against me. Just prove it. I'm open to it. Prove that you were there. Obviously, you weren't there for a year, so explain the timeline. Just prove you were there.
Any more questions and began to leave, stating finally,
I have nothing to hide.
and WTOL 11 was able.
Nothing to hide.
Nothing to hide, but no
Also, nothing to
given.
show. What's that?
I said nothing to hide, but no information given.
Yeah, nothing to hide, nothing to show. I'll give it 10 seconds if you want to look at that Jordan Peterson video, and then maybe we go through all those couple other things we have, and then we start tearing apart. But
I think we wrap up this one here, and then
I kind of want to see what the setup is. I want to hear if he acknowledges that he's a conservative now.